Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. We're going to be getting started here in a moment. We're going to be talking about stability coins, stable coins again today. I still have not got my mic set up, so I apologize about that. I will get that set up soon enough, hopefully by next week. If not sooner, I'll have it all set up for you. Do me a favor as you come in, do two things for me. Please say hello, and please smash that like button. And if you don't feel like smashing the like button yet, hopefully by the end of today's live stream, you'll be compelled to do so. All right. This is Crypto Wealth. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to be talking about stablecoin yields. And now you may be wondering, Wealth, why are we talking about stablecoin yields? Crypto's pumping. It's because stablecoin yields can limit our downside risk. That is the bottom line. And at the end of the day, crypto is about doing everything you can to try to limit risk. Now, nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a very, very biased cryptocurrency YouTuber, ladies and gentlemen. Very biased. All right. We are almost to our countdown. As you come in, just say hello, hello. I'm pulling up my stream on my phone so I can see it and see you. Where we at? Here we go. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am currently trying to make certain I pull up my live stream. There we go. All right. There's about 5 of you here. Do me a favor. Crypto Kobe said, what's up? What's up? Online Work says, go, go, go. Online Work 123. Sir, that is a generic name you have. All right. All right. All right. Welcome to everyone for being here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Love you. Let's get into this. We're all trying to make sense of this crazy crypto world. Why am I all the way down here? I'll show you why I'm down here in a moment. We're going to be talking about earning over 200% APR. That's important to say, APR instead of APY. APR is the rate you're earning without compounding. APY is what you could earn if you were compounding. We'll be talking about some earnings. Mtron, welcome, sir. We'll be talking about some earnings today. We'll be talking about APRs today. And I think people don't understand the power of compounding, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a moment. Compound interest is incredible. Bitcoin currently at 67,000. We are going to push towards that $70,000. I know the all-time high is at 69, but I'm telling you 79 is going to be the number. Can we break through? 70. 70 is going to be the number. Can we break through 70,000? All right, today we're talking about stable coins. There's something I want to do right away, and we're going to get right into this part, and we're going to cover the news in the second part of today's live stream. So you come down here, and we see the DAI token. Most people are familiar with DAI. Most people consider DAI to be a decentralized stablecoin. What many people don't realize about DAI is that it actually is not truly decentralized any longer. It was when it was created, but it lost its peg at one point in time, and essentially what they did was they collateralized it with stablecoins. So I found this article just because I wanted to be able to show you. This is from September 2nd of 2022 when it talks about the DAI token. If you come down here and you look at how is DAI backed, by far the biggest share of DAI's backing consists of centralized stablecoins, USDC and the Pax dollar. Why is this important? Because if their collateral is backed, if they're backed by centralized stablecoins, then it means that essentially they could lose that backing. They could lose that collateralizations. Now there also are some experiments in crypto to try to create under collateralized stablecoins, and that's very interesting. That has not yet worked out very well. Now, it doesn't mean that DAI would totally collapse if it's lost its backing, but arguably the way that MakerDAO has been able to reinforce confidence in people using DAI is recognize that it is collateralized, and now it is collateralized with both USDC and the Pax dollar. However, I'm a bit of a crypto purist. I don't want a big corporate entity like BlackRock being in charge of my cryptocurrency, whether it's a stable coin or not. And I feel it's important that we have stable coins in crypto. So there's another project that has a stable coin. That stable coin is known as LUSD. This is on Ethereum. And what Liquidity has done is very, very interesting. This is not going to come up, but it's also, their chart looks very similar to DAI, except it kind of has got, it rises above $1 periodically, 102, 103, 104. It does float a little bit above $1, but that's because people are going in to earn yield. The LUSD is part of the liquidity platform, or the liquidity protocol. And those of you who are familiar with liquid loans on Pulse Chain, you'll recognize that this looks very similar. This is the original protocol, to my knowledge, which liquid loans simply forked. Now, once you understand this, then if you were to come here and you were to go to use liquidity, they give you all of these different front ends down here. Now, if you chose, for example, it is this front end here. If you chose this, you're like, okay, I want to interact with the protocol using this front end, meaning this website. You could come here, and if you connected with your wallet, you would end up seeing something that looks like this. Oh, it's not going to pull up. What in the world? It's not going to pull up. Okay, let me back up over here. I don't know why I have a screenshot. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you guys can see the screenshot. I think you can. Let's see. No, you cannot see the screenshot. Okay, it's not showing it on my OBS side either. Okay, then let me try something a little bit different. If you were to connect with your wallet, let me try to zoom in over here so you can see this. You can kind of see how that's laid out at the very least. This says stability pool, this says staking, this says Trove, which coincidentally looks very similar to the current Earn protocol. This is a brand new protocol, and it is paying right now 324% APR uncompounded, ladies and gentlemen, uncompounded. This is absurd, and it amazes me at how many people don't realize this in crypto. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. If you like earning high APRs on decentralized stablecoins, do me a favor and smash that freaking like button, for God's sakes. So here's the thing. This is nothing more than a fork of liquidity. It's the same exact concept. So the idea here on liquidity is that people can essentially earn a yield on their Ethereum. You basically put your Ethereum up, you borrow against that Ethereum, and you get LUSD. You can put that LUSD in the stability pool, and then you earn interest on it. And so the same thing is happening here. Where's it at? I'm sorry, I said that all wrong. You borrow and you end up getting, you can get liquidity tokens. Here you earn tokens. Okay, earn tokens, liquidity tokens. So the idea is here, instead of Ethereum, you can use your Pulse X, which is one of the two major native tokens of the Pulse chain. PLS being the primary token of the Pulse chain, which Liquid Loans, their version, does the exact same thing for Pulse or PLS. But all people are doing is they don't want to sell their Pulse, but they want to be able to access the capital. So what they can do is they can put their Pulse X up and they can take a loan against the Pulse X. They take the loan in this native token, the native stablecoin PXDC. I think that stands for Pulse X digital currency. I'm not sure. Pulse X dollar coin. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments if you actually know. See, Kenny said, I hear you, but do you really think something like this will last? I don't know. I just showed you liquidity. Liquidity's been around for several years. That was my entire premise. This is not something brand new. The liquidity protocol has been around for a long time. The LUSD token has been around for a long time. Now, if you're asking me, will the APR last? The thumbnail for this video says about 7 days I think we have to earn the 200%. It's going to continue to tick down. But right now, liquidity they're paying about 4%, which is not very high. But you got to look at the limited amount of risk. The thing has never lost peg. They've never lost money being an LUSD over there. And theoretically, that's the goal here. Now, one of the reasons that liquidity has not performed better from a APR standpoint is because of the fees on Ethereum. They're so insanely high right now. The gas fees are crazy. And so you've got to be moving like basically $1,000+ transactions for it to make any sense to transact on Ethereum just about. With liquid loans and with the Earn protocol, we're making transactions for like a penny or less most of the time. So I think the protocol is going to last. I think the fact that they have decentralized, fully decentralized digital currencies is incredible. I mean, digital dollars essentially. That's incredible. Now, right now, liquid loans, I don't know how many weeks we are into liquid loans, but it's been a while, and they're still earning above 100% APR as of yesterday. 115%, I think, is what I saw as of yesterday. There's two things that affect the APR: the value of the earn token, the number of people in here. So the APR can absolutely go down, and the earn token is going to trend downward because it's getting minted here, but they have a much lower supply than even liquid loans. Point being, liquidity was earning like a 20% plus APR for a long time. I mean, a really long time. And if more people are able to use this protocol, it's possible that we could see this APR stay up, because the other thing that affects this APR is the liquidations that occur. We benefit from liquidations on the platform, being in the stability pool. The whole idea behind the stability pool is you're providing the collateral essentially, or at least part of the collateral essentially. Um, and I'm oversimplifying that. The collateral is actually provided by the PLS, the PulseX providers, but you're bringing stability. You're bringing the backstop if something happens, and for whatever reason, to the price of PulseX. I'm oversimplifying that, but there's a reason it's called the stability pool. But this model is essentially proven to work for now. So the question is, and I say for now because it's crypto. By the way, I've got to put this crazy disclaimer out there again. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a very biased, very optimistic, very hopeful cryptocurrency YouTuber, ladies and gentlemen. But so how in the world would somebody get into something like this? So I'll just walk you through the steps I took. So I came over here to changenow.network. I say .network because that's an affiliate link. And once you come over here, here's what will happen. Just changenow.network, come here. Once you're here, you switch your Bitcoin or your Ethereum, whatever you have, switch it for PLS. Those of you who were here yesterday, you already saw this. Okay, there's a max amount of PLS Ethereum you can use. That's fine. I would maybe try Bitcoin or USDC or USDT or something. And at that point, you could exchange it for Pulse. Then you can come to something like a DEX like, or a DEX like, I can never say this right, PTS, whatever. You swipe your Pulse for PXDC. It's not going to show up right away, so you just type PXDC. Once you make that swap, then all you have to do is come back to the Earn protocol, and you'll come here and you have to connect your wallet, and there'll be a place to deposit. Going forward, after your initial deposit, you just hit adjust, and if you have PXDC in your wallet, this button will light up and you can click max, or you can just type in whatever number you want. And at that point in time, you'll make the deposit to the stability pool. And you're going to start earning almost immediately. Now, you're not going to get any PLSX for a while. If you want it, you're not going to get it. You won't get that for at least another 13, 14 days when redemptions actually can start happening. Now, what happens when there's redemptions, you will lose some of your PXDC, but you make some PLSX. And all you have to do, the first time that happens, people are like, why am I losing my dollar value? Because you're getting Pulse X. And if you don't want to hold on to the Pulse X, just go back to Piteus, swap your Pulse X to PXDC. That's it. And then you can go right back into the stability pool if you wanted. Now, I recommend, if you're going to come into something like this, that you join the Telegram groups, you join Discord, follow them on Twitter. Pay attention to what's going on with all these platforms. You want to be in the know. Thanks, Big Smoke. Big Smoke says liquid loans has been out for around 4 months. I didn't realize it had been that long. I thought it may be up to 2 months. The APR started at 1,200%. It's been steady around 100% for at least 2 months. Between Ink Long and Earn is the perfect wheel strategy. All right. Yeah, I Ink is doing well. That's a whole nother token altogether that's been doing well lately. I'm not currently, to be totally transparent, I'm one of the people that's not a super fan of Ink, but just because I'm not a super fan of it does not mean it won't go through the freaking roof. A lot of people are suspecting there's going to be some more developments with Ink. And I understand part of the narrative with Ink and needing to increase liquidity into the PulseX platform to get the Maker DAO fork over on the Pulse chain pumping. I understand all that. I think that's very possible, very viable, the whole 9 yards. So I'm not discounting Ink. It's just not one that I'm, just full transparency, it's not one that I'm super paying attention to or bullish on. But with that being said, the earnings in Ink, even if you wanted to sell them, are quite high over there on the Pulse X ecosystem. All right. So now, by the way, if you appreciate this, and if you want me to do an entire tutorial on this and get it uploaded on YouTube, I'll do that. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely do that. If you have any other questions, let me know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move over into some news today, and I love looking at the news because the news is when we begin to realize, as crypto enthusiasts, I'll put it there, as crypto investors and crypto enthusiasts, heck, crypto degens that are paying attention to the tech and to the news surrounding it, you begin to realize that the rest of the world still don't quite know what they're talking about. The so-called experts are still actually quite clueless when it comes to crypto. But let's go ahead and get started. Right here, BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF sees almost $800 million in daily inflows. That's nuts. That is nuts. You all know that I like the ETF for the price. I don't like the ETF for how it sort of subverts the technology and prevents people from holding their own crypto, but it's good for price and it does create awareness. And I wanted to point out this tweet right here, kind of get your thoughts, because he says something I disagree with here, but I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments. Wow, IBIT took, by the way, if you don't know, that's the ticker for the Bitcoin ETF. Wow, IBIT took in a record smashing 788 million yesterday, leading team effort for 9 with nearly 1 billion in gross flows, despite the reverse God candle and way overwhelming Grayscale's bleed. Grayscale's been losing their Bitcoin, but he's saying the ETF is gaining way more than Grayscale is losing. First small taste, right here. First small taste of how ETF investors gonna be. Oh, I didn't mean to go there. How ETF investors gonna be way better hodlers than some people think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think? And I know some of you are in ETFs. I know Mtron on here is in an ETF. Do you think, generally speaking, though, ETF investors are looking for easy ways to speculate on the price of Bitcoin in and out in dollars? Or do you think ETF investors are going to be long-term hodlers? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why would you long-term hodl in something that you could never actually hodl? You can't actually hold the Bitcoin. You can't get the Bitcoin. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, please. All right. Here we go. Bitcoin ETFs are starting to compete with the S&P 500, says Michael Saylor. Just wanted to point this out because it's bullish news for crypto. Michael Saylor predicts the Bitcoin ETF growth will soon outpace other leading ETFs. Now, one of the only reasons that I really appreciate, I should say the only reason, Michael Saylor's is sort of a mainstream guy in a lot of ways, and I don't see him as some sort of savior for crypto. I don't necessarily believe that he believes in the true tech of crypto. I don't think I don't know what he believes. I do believe that he thinks Bitcoin is a better store of value than US dollars. He's proved it with his own money, and I absolutely respect that. I mean, you have to respect that. So it's cool when he says he thinks that the ETFs are going to start competing with the S&P 500. We'll have to wait and see, but I hope they do. And if you hope they do as well, smash that like button. Shameless plug. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is interesting news because of a couple of reasons. I feel like this article shows us a couple things. I'm just going to go through the article. It's very short, A Russian economist sees bleak future for Bitcoin with the rise of the digital ruble. Now, the digital ruble is going to be Russia's version of the central bank digital currency, or their version of a digital dollar. Russia is actually way ahead of most countries on developing and testing a digital currency. Now, it's important for you to understand a central bank digital currency is not a currency on a blockchain. It's essentially a centralized stablecoin that is controlled by the government. There's a lot of reasons why this is a little bit nerve-wracking and scary for anyone who cares about privacy, but essentially, the US government will be able to see, or the government of whatever nation issues a currency will be able to see everyone's accounts, what they're holding, what they're buying, what they're spending money on. Essentially, you'll have no financial privacy at all. And it allows them to be able to do negative inflation where they can literally, if they wanted to, pull funds from everybody, pull funds from certain wallets. It allows government potentially an insane amount of control over the currency supply, which could be bad for the average investor. If you think that governments typically do a really good job of providing prosperous opportunities for their citizens, then you are probably going to be bullish on central bank digital currencies. If you think governments do a poor job at looking out for the average citizen's economic welfare, then you're probably going to be bearish on central bank digital currencies. But let's just take a look at what he says here. This guy says, it doesn't matter who he is, the economists argue that the emergence of digital currencies, such as a digital ruble and other central bank digital currencies, would lead to a significant decrease in their value, talking about in the value of other cryptocurrencies. Despite this, he says that cryptocurrencies would not disappear entirely, but would become less prominent. Again, when I tell you that it's obvious that you and I know more than most of the supposed experts, this is a great example of that. By his logic, stable coins are going to decrease the value of Bitcoin. We already know that's not true. In fact, arguably, they help support the price of Bitcoin. So we already know that's not true. Also, that's like saying that when there's a fork, like when Bitcoin forked to Bitcoin Cash, that was suddenly going to decrease the value of Bitcoin. Well, some of us thought that might happen, myself included. It did not. So there's no way a new digital currency alone, the creation of the currency alone would not decrease the value of Bitcoin. What would decrease the value of Bitcoin if governments started requiring use of the currencies and start making it difficult through new laws, essentially, or new regulations to hold and interact with the cryptocurrency. That's what would lower the value. The creation of the central bank digital currency alone would not do it. This guy highlighted the current state of the cryptocurrency market as greatly overheated due to a surge in demand he views as unsustainable. He forecasted that cryptocurrency prices, including Bitcoin, might rise in the short term. However, he anticipated potential instability post-April, likely alluding to the anticipated Bitcoin halving event. So let me get this straight. He alludes that the Bitcoin halving is going to cause the price of Bitcoin to go down. Okay. If you've been in this space for more than 10 seconds, you would know that the halving has been one of the most consistent super cycles in financial history. The halving to date has never caused a decrease in price. It's proven to be an incredible pump for price. So again, and I point this out because new people in crypto, like brand new, or the general public who stumbles on the crypto for the first time and they read stuff like this, like it sounds very credible, but it's clear this guy either is a lunatic and doesn't know what he's talking about, which I don't think is actually the truth, or he's intentionally fudding to try to combat essentially cryptocurrency. And I think that's far more likely. It's not like Russia's ever been pro, people's rights or nothing in the long run. In explaining the volatility of cryptocurrencies, crypto is all about demand. Bitcoin cannot be valued in the same way as traditional financial assets, which makes it a risky investment. He expressed optimism about the future financial landscape, suggesting that the introduction of digital versions of major world currencies could lead to a better world of to lead to a better world for investors. Isn't that crazy? Further drawing historical parallels, he compared the cryptocurrency craze to the Dutch tulip mania of the 17th century. This has already been done on the very first super cycle of the first halving, and it proved to be false then years ago, and it will be proven false again this time. My personal opinion. Indicating a common pattern of speculative investment leading to a loss. Despite this, he differentiated the cryptocurrency market from traditional financial pyramids, suggesting it has a resilience to persist in some form. On the subject of digital ruble, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to keep going. You get it. You get it. These guys, they want their digital currency so bad, ladies and gentlemen, so bad. All right. We're going to be wrapping this up, but here we go. Many of you saw me put a significant 10x leveraged bet on Ethereum, and that bet has been paying off beautifully. And someone asked me, why did I do this? Well, there's two reasons. The number one reason was I'm optimistic that Ethereum is going to have an ETF. That is the number one reason. Now, as you'll see here in a moment, they're still trying to block it. They're trying to pretend like it's not going to happen and whatnot. But I'm still optimistic that Ethereum will get an ETF. But the other thing is there's a major upgrade coming to Ethereum as well. And I believe this potentially could pump the price, at least in the short to medium term. When I say short to medium term for me, short term is weeks, medium term is months, long term is years. That's always how I sort of talk about it. So in the short to medium term, I believe this will pump price. Now, I don't know what it does long term, only because it may increase adoption, increase use, but it's going to decrease the rate of burn because this, I want to say Duncan, it's Duncan, however you say it. This upgrade is going to potentially radically lower the gas fees, which Ethereum needs, and it's going to boost the use of some of the layer 2 supposedly. We'll have to see how it actually works out. Not everything that Ethereum promises happens, but we all have to pay attention to Ethereum. Outside of Bitcoin, you got to watch Ethereum and what Ethereum is doing. By the way, are you bullish on Ethereum as well? Let me know in the comments. All right. Let's go. All right. Is Ethereum a security? I just had to show slimy Gary Gensler here. Is Ethereum a security? The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, differs on the question. Pressed on whether the regulator viewed Ethereum as a security, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, said he would defer on that question. What's very fascinating is, who is he going to go after now? Who is he going to attempt to sue? You're going to attempt to sue Vitalik? He's not even an American citizen, moron. I mean, this guy never freaking stops. And he defers on the question. Part of the reason he's going to defer on the question, he's going to be careful of what he says, is because a lot of these guys' words have been used against them in lawsuits. And this Gary Gensler moron has lawsuits going everywhere. Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy who was chummy with Sam Bankman-Fried at SBF. The SEC is the same organization that actually sought out Bernie Madoff for guidance and advice when he was in the midst of running one of the largest Ponzi scams of all times. Ladies and gentlemen, these three-letter agencies don't do a very good job of looking out for their governments, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree. This is interesting news here. This is going in the right direction, although I always get nervous when new laws and new regulations are coming out, because most often they're not positive for crypto. Most often, at the very least, they restrict us. Very rarely do laws and regulations give us more freedoms, and rarely do they truly protect freedoms. They usually protect a certain group of people, but not everybody, not the average people in a lot of cases. Look at this. The commodities future, I'm not saying that right. Anyway, the CFTC Advisory Committee voted to advance pioneering digital assets for taxonomy for agency review. Basically, what they're doing is this right here. The aim is to have consistent language for terms including digital assets, central bank digital currencies, and stablecoins. So they want to prevent some of the confusion around various regulations, and they're trying to define, what are we actually calling a digital asset? What are we calling a stablecoin? What are we calling a central bank digital currency? Now, here's what's interesting. They say, among others, I want to know if they're looking for, if they're going to have a different definition for an NFT. Or are they going to call that a digital asset? Are they going to call normal cryptocurrency a digital asset as well? Are they going to link normal cryptocurrency and NFTs? That gets interesting. That gets dicey. I recently had a conversation with a lawyer who doesn't work directly in the crypto space. He works actually in the insurance space, but and in the financial space a little bit. But we were talking about crypto, and he said something very interesting to me. And he said there's two arguments that are not made, and the Pulse Chain community will love this. He said there's two arguments that are not made enough in crypto. One is that he said, I don't agree. And the crypto community screwed themselves when they started making the fungible argument for Bitcoin as currency. Fungible meaning one Bitcoin always equals another Bitcoin, makes it fungible. He said, arguably, by a loose definition, in some ways you could actually consider it an NFT. He said, NFTs and the laws around them are going to be interesting because one doesn't represent the other one, even though they have a value and even though they could be used as a form of currency and trade. He said it's going to be different and difficult. It should be very difficult legally to classify NFTs as financial assets ever. And he goes, and this is going to allow them to be able to do all sorts of interesting things that you may not be able to do with cryptocurrencies. Anyway, his argument got very deep in the weeds and complex. The other thing that he did say, which Richard Hart is saying right now, and Richard Hart is fighting this in court, who's the developer of, well, co-founder or founder, I guess you could say, of Pulse Chain. Richard Hart is saying that transacting in cryptocurrency on a blockchain through an electronic medium is essentially a form of speech and not a form of financial transaction. It's just simply a form of speech. And it's well cited, and that argument can be made. It's an argument that doesn't come easily to most of us because we've sort of accustomed cryptocurrency to money, but it's a argument intended to help protect cryptocurrency and its use from some of the regulators. I do like seeing if I would rather see the CFTC. I'm cautious about whatever regulations they come out with, but I would much rather see the CFTC, I think, regulate cryptocurrency. At least they're taking a much more measured approach, for example, than the SEC and Gary Gensler. Because that guy, man, hey, Gary, if you'd like to come on to the channel, I'd love to have you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.